Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about reducing your stress while traveling. You know, traveling is so much fun. It's exhilarating. There are just so many new places you haven't been to yet, all the new culture you're going to be learning, the people you're going to be talking to, but it can also be overwhelming.
So while we've been traveling, we've learned these 5 strategies that have made us just so much more relaxed while we've been on the road. It's really made a big difference in reducing the number of decisions that we have to make. It's kind of about eliminating the variables and reducing the number of things that can go wrong. These are simple habits that anyone can use while they're traveling, especially on those long international trips where the decision fatigue can really add up.
So let's go over the 5 strategies. We're Tanya and Martin. We travel the world going to all the places we've always dreamed of visiting.
We hope our adventures will inspire yours. So one of the most important things you can do to reduce stress is to stay organized while you're traveling. You don't want to be scrambling around looking for things just as you're ready to board a plane or a train, or if you're trying to get out of the hotel room in the morning in order to meet your tour.
So our tip for this is to pack everything in the same place every time. So every item you travel with has to have a designated spot, like a home. So for example, I have a closet organizing system, and on the 3rd shelf, that's where my pants go. And when I am ready to, when I change, I take my pants, I fold them up, and I put them right back on the 3rd shelf so that I know exactly where they are if I need my pants again. So here's an example of what happens when you don't follow this tip. And this is what I did just on our last trip that we just came back from. We're dashing out the door to go eat, and I just tossed my hair clip into my personal bag. The next morning I need that hair clip. I go to look for it. Black hair clip, inside of my bag is black. I can't find it. I start looking around on the counters, still can't find it, and then I'm like, no, I know I put it in the bag. I end up having to empty half the bag before I finally find that clip at the very bottom of the bag. Had I put it in the pocket that it's supposed to have gone in, if I'd just taken that extra 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it would have saved me a huge hassle in the morning. And because of that, we ended up having to rush to the tour that we had scheduled for that morning.
So I use packing cubes to do all my organizing, and I put my smaller things in pouches, but it's whatever works for you. So the most important thing is always pack things in the same place every time.
So strategy number 2, set the tone for a successful day. So if your day doesn't start off on the right foot, it often means that your rhythm will be off for the rest of the day. And this can be especially bad when you're traveling. So our strategy for this is to start each morning the same way. And the way we do that is have breakfast in the same location. And the expert on breakfast is Martin.
Yes, I think it's good to have breakfast in the same location each day. When you're at home, everything's familiar. I get up in the morning, I put the coffee on, I pop some bread into the toaster, and everything's familiar, everything's easy. I don't have to make any decisions, and my day always gets off on the right foot. So when we're traveling, we try and replicate the same thing. So if we're staying in a hotel, quite often that hotel will have a buffet, so we just go down there. If there's no buffet in the hotel, then we'll go out and find a local coffee shop that we can go to, and we'll just stick to that same place every morning.
So always eat breakfast in the same place every day.
Now for something that's really important, but it's really basic, and that is don't lose your phone. It's your boarding pass, it's your maps, it's your camera, it's your credit cards, it's everything. And this happens a lot more often than you think. So here are the top 3 reasons why you may be running to the store to replace your phone.
So reason number 1, you drop your phone.
And sometimes you may be dropping it over the side of a bridge, so your phone is gone completely.
Reason number 2, you leave your phone behind. This often happens when you go to a restaurant. You get a phone call. You put the phone down on the table, you're talking, chatting, and then you leave the restaurant, and then you realize your phone's still on the table. So reason number 3 is pickpocketing, which, in several locations is a really big deal, right? So when we were in Spain, our tour guide actually had her phone on a cord, and she told us it was because she had been pickpocketed. So I thought that was a great idea. So when we came home, I actually got one of those for my phone, which is right here. See, you're wearing your phone all the time, so you don't have to worry about it. And when you're taking pictures and you're leaning over, to get that picture just so way over there, even if you drop your phone, you still have it. Strategy number 4, don't book tight travel connections. Airport travel days can be very hectic. I can't tell you how many times we've gone to the airport and seen someone literally running down the hall to try and catch their connecting flight. So we used to think that a 40-minute layover was enough time to be able to get to the next gate. But what we have found is that it's really better to just leave at least a 2-hour window if you have a layover. There are so many things that can happen at the airport. For example, just standing in the customs line alone, sometimes that's 40 minutes right there. And sometimes just walking to a gate could be, sometimes you have to walk downstairs, then get on a train, take this train all the way over to another whatever building.
It could take you at least 15 minutes to get between terminals, or even more.
Even more. Especially when we're in Europe, and you're catching a train, and then you actually get on a bus that goes across the tarmac to the plane. So you don't know. It's just really good to leave a really wide window.
As an example of this, it is when especially when you're traveling into Europe from the United States, you're entering the EU, and you're going to have to go through customs and immigration before you get on your next connecting flight. So if you have a flight to Paris and then you need to get over down to Rome, then you have to go through immigration first. So you're going to need to leave yourself enough time to do that. Another situation that we got into is actually when we were coming back to the United States. We flew back via Toronto. And what we didn't realize is that you have to pass US immigration in Toronto.
Yep.
So we were stuck in the immigration line, and we come pretty close to missing our flight. One of the things we did notice while we were there, by the way, is that there were people going along the outside, and they were using global entry. So that's the time we decided, well, we've just got to get global entry if we're going to do this long-term traveling.
So always leave yourself enough time and don't book tight travel connections. Strategy number 5, don't tire yourself out. And the tip for this is to plan your downtime, not just your activities. When you've spent all this money to go on a long trip, you want to get your money's worth, right? You want to see everything, go everywhere, talk to everyone, which is all great when you're on a 1 week or a 2 week vacation. But when you're doing long-term travel,
you just can't keep that pace up.
You just can't. And when we did travel this way, we found that when we got home, what we ended up with was a digital representation of our 2 week vacation. We would look at our photos and the video, and we'd go, "Oh yeah, I forgot we did that."
Yeah.
So
we vaguely remember that.
Yeah. So we feel that it's more important to really be in the moment, and which for us means slowing down. So that means if you have an activity scheduled for Monday, then you take Tuesday off. Tuesday you maybe go for a walk, and you never know, something might happen. But the point is you just relax and just kind of have idle time that day.
It's not that you do nothing. You still go out, you still explore, you're still going to go out to eat. And quite often when you're exploring, you find things that you wouldn't have found if you'd have scheduled a tour every day. There's just things around the local neighborhood. Quite often, like a festival will pop up in the middle of nowhere,
Or a frog museum in the middle of Split.
It's not that you're not going to experience things while you're on your down days. It just means you're just taking it a little bit more slowly. You're spending more time at the cafe, drinking a coffee, reading your book, and just people watching. And that is all part of a great vacation.
So those are our 5 strategies that help us reduce our stress while we travel. And hopefully you will get some benefit from using some of these tips as well.
So if you have any tips that you've learned as you've been traveling, please let us know down in the comments. We're always trying to learn, and we'll be very interested to hear about your strategies.
So until next time, we'll see you in the next video.